I'd like to now welcome Simon, the franchise owner of Vision in 5Doc, and his client Cheryl. Tell us about why you started with Vision.
I started with Vision because I had lost my purpose in life. I had lost my mother, who was the best friend I ever had in my life, and I just needed a bit more of an inspiration, and I'd been recommended by some friends who'd had a great experience with the Des Moines studio, and Simon was opening in 5Doc, so I called him up, and that's where my journey began.
Congratulations. So I'm so sorry about your mum. Was that the catalyst? What was the reason that you actually made the first phone call?
Because I'd been sick, and my doctor had recommended that if I didn't actually do something, that I was probably leading myself to a slow grave, because I'd let myself go. I'd put on probably 50 kilos, and I was totally unhealthy. So no fitness, no dietary, I would just let myself go.
So just tell me about life prior to Vision. What was life like?
Probably sad and demotivating. I was just going through the motions. I travel with my job. I'm a national manager for a business, and so basically I didn't exercise and ate anything I wanted to eat because I really didn't care.
Well, congratulations for making the first phone call. Now, the other end of the phone, who actually took the phone call?
Simon McDonald, and that was an experience in itself, because Simon is persistent and charming, and doesn't let go. He's amazing, and yeah, so he basically just kept on at me till I come in, because I'd made the phone call, but then I just, oh yeah, I've made the phone call now, I won't do anything about it. Well, you know, his son was, yeah, just amazing. He just kept on going. I made the appointment, and I thought I was just going in for a chat. I went in, you know, and all of a sudden I was down doing push-ups and step-ups and
going through a fitness
so
test.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, I think that was the best way to do it, I have to be honest with you. Yeah, and from that moment onward, I've been, you know, completely inspired. Okay,
day one. Tell us about day one. Wait, maybe Simon, if you'd explain the health and aspects that Cheryl needed to address.
Well, Cheryl actually had a personal trainer prior to Vision as well for a number of years, and had some great success with that as well. So she was no stranger to, I guess, the sort of process that we were going to embark on. I remember the first weigh-in and the first weight session that we did. I was still fairly new to personal training back then, and I wanted to help Cheryl off the floor, and she sort of, with a cheeky but nervous smile, said, well, how about we wait till I lose 30 kilos before we can actually do that? So I still remember the day when we hit that 30 kilo mark, and I was able to reach down and pick off the floor, and I don't know, maybe that just seemed a bit small, but to us it was pretty important, so yeah. Congratulations.
Now, you've been with Vision now for 2 years.
2 years.
Tell us about the results you've actually achieved, and again, some of the events that you've participated in and completed.
Okay, so achievements, just near 40 kilos weight loss, obviously wanting to do at least another 20 more. So my aim is to lose, I suppose, a minimum of 60. So I'm definitely still on my journey. So you know, my journey on weight loss is not finished. You know, inches off my waist and hips, and I mean, like I've gone from a size 20 clothes to a size 14, sometimes a 12, depends on the make of the clothing. I can do things now like cross my legs. I mean, you know, little things that you probably, you know, people take for granted, but for someone like me, and probably the biggest thing when I travelled, you know, there was nearly a stage there where I had to get an extra seatbelt, you know, type of thing. I was nearly there. I'd sit in my seat and think, oh God, you know, but I didn't care at that time. But all of a sudden, I think the biggest achievement was when I was able to do that, you know, put on a seatbelt and actually have a lot of room.
It's a simple thing sometimes.
Oh, exactly. People don't realise that. So yeah, and the achievements that I've made is, you know, fun runs. I've been doing, did the Blackmores 10K, and then I did some more fun runs, but I did the half marathon with Simon by my side in May, and that was the most amazing thing, yeah.
Congratulations on that, and you completed it well. Now, Simon, with regard to that half marathon, I guess the training plan set in place to actually completely succeed that half marathon would have helped with the fat loss. Tell us a bit about the journey there too.
Definitely. It's something that Cheryl and I had been speaking about for a long time. And the reason why I did my first half marathon was because of the success that Cheryl was having. And up until that stage, I'd done nothing more than play soccer and swim when I was younger. So I felt I needed, as though I needed to step up a bit more. And I kept raising the bar on myself every time that Cheryl kept raising the bar on herself. So I completed my first half Ironman last year, and that was pretty much in direct response to her losing 40 kilos. And then the training plan we went through to get us to this half marathon in May, Cheryl walks her dog for a good 2 and a bit hours almost every day. So just her, I guess, the longevity in her legs was already there. We just needed to do a few longer runs and we always do quite a lot of short distance sprint stuff in our studio just to help build that aerobic capacity. And on the day we made sure we planned our food out for the whole week prior to, and had very specific food intake on the day and afterwards. And we just took it one step at a time. And I always knew that we were going to finish it. There was no way I was going to not rock up on the day and not go home without her having a medal. So yeah, it was a done deal. So
well done. Cheryl, what was it like for you to actually cross that finish line?
Yeah, well, I think, I did it with Simon, so we crossed it together because it wasn't just it was my success, it was both of our success. So that's how I feel like. I'm actually getting teary at the moment. But yeah, I mean, look, this journey has been the most amazing experience of my life, and it's been made possible because of Vision and because of Simon. And, I'm so grateful, and, I tell anyone and everyone that it is the most amazing experience, and you'll come out so much better off for it. Yeah, you get your life back. Yeah.
What I'm getting from you here is that you seem to inspire each other.
Yeah.
It's an amazing relationship, and again, I guess you've become friends now.
Yeah, absolutely. Friends. Yeah.
You socialise?
Yeah, we do.
Definitely.
Yeah, I suppose I'm probably old enough to be his mother, but we're partners in crime. Yeah, and look, I love him, and yeah, like a son, I suppose. Yeah.
It's hard to do by yourself, isn't it?
I think so. You definitely, I know that when I have tough weeks where I've travelled and, I've gotten home at like 9 o'clock at night and I know I've got a session with Simon at 5:30 in the morning, what gets me out of bed is knowing that he's going to be there and he's going to inspire me to do things like every week we raise the bar. So every week we lift the weights up, or we do different things, or he takes me to a level on the cross train I've never been to before. So it's always inspiring. I always get out of bed ready to train because I know that he's going to be there at the other end. And even when I don't train with Simon, I'm still there. And, seeing his face makes me always happy. Yeah.
Now, very quickly, you've touched on that you would lead a very busy lifestyle, and your work takes you out of the state quite a lot. Tell us, how are you compromised? How do you plan your meal? So obviously it's an ongoing journey. So what do you do to prepare yourself?
Well, I think the key is for me is that I definitely always try not to travel when I'm training. So I make my commitments for work and travel around my training. So I very rarely miss a session. I always train with someone on a Monday and a Friday. So I travel Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I do group exercise as well. So I try to make sure I don't miss any of those sessions. And when I'm away, because I'm interstate all over Australia, when I'm away, I find a gym where I am, or if there isn't a gym, I'll go for a walk, plan my food, make sure that I take everything with me, or find a supermarket where I can get everything. So yeah, I never go back to the habits that I used to have.
I'd like to touch on that too. Now, you mentioned earlier that you actually had some weight loss. What's the difference between what's happened before and, again, your journey with Vision?
I think the nutritional advice that we get from Vision, so it's about, now I'm accountable, so writing down your food, counting your macros, your carbs, your protein and your fat, and keeping yourself accountable. And of course, then having to share that with Simon, and, if I haven't done right, he kicks me up the bum. But I think the whole Vision experience is all about, the one-on-one personal training, belief, self-belief from them and you, and just the fantastic, food advice that you ongoingly get. You've got the shopping tours and the seminars and the studio. So there's so many amazing things. So even if you do lose track, for a period of time, for whatever may happen in your life, they're there and they will get you back on track again. Yeah, amazing.
Now, cardio requirements. You mentioned group exercises. What's the culture like?
It's incredible. Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that, Simon. Is it hard to encourage people to do their extra cardio with a group?
Sometimes, yes. I guess it does depend on where they're at on their journey. So if this is brand new to them, the fact of just doing personal training is a big thing. So there is a bit of intimidation if they're walking into a studio that's established and there's a group exercise where there's been people that are at that group exercise for a long time. So that can be something that they work up towards. But I know, especially in our studio, our Wednesday night boxing group and our Saturday morning cross training group, generally the same sort of people, and the level of intensity is just phenomenal. And now that the weather's really good, both sessions are now outside the studio, so it creates a really great atmosphere. And for quite a while there, we want to instill that again, that every Wednesday night they all go out for dinner afterwards up to the local seafood restaurant, and then every Saturday morning after Group X we all go to breakfast and have coffee at the local cafe. So it's just something that's an ongoing thing, and yeah, we've sort of really built that up over the last, I'd say, year and a half maybe.
Cheryl, you go to both of those group exercises?
Yeah, well there's 3 a week that I go to. So Simon mentioned Wednesday and Saturday, and there's also boxing on a Monday morning, 6 till 7. So I train with Simon from 5:30 to 6, and then I do 6 till sometimes 7, but I might leave a bit early to take the dog for a walk.
That's great, well done. I suppose now I'd like to know what keeps you motivated. What is actually driving you now that you've been doing this for 2 years?
Yeah, vision. I mean, look, it's just a way of life, you know, and it's a family. It's an amazing, you know, unless you've been there, you don't really understand it. But for me now, what keeps me motivated is that I've still got a bit of a journey to go, so I want to get to that. Once I'm there, I want to maintain it. I've got goals that Simon and I are setting, you know, triathlons, rock climbing, so, you know, yeah, there's no way I'm going anywhere.
Pushing the boundaries. Simon, how important is goal setting?
Yeah, really important. I'd never experienced it myself until I actually started as a personal trainer. So my lifestyle was the complete opposite, with the late nights of hospitality. So walking to a studio where I was a brand new trainer and just being shown that if you want to be really good, you've got to find some new ways to keep pushing yourself and just keep trying to learn as much as you can. So the only way to do that is by setting a specific goal and a bit of a process to get to that. And yeah, I've just had the philosophy for myself that if I've never done it before, then I'm going to give it a go. So, and then I'll just find a way to make sure that I give it the best crack I can. And if I finish it and go, you know what, I could probably do better, then I'll go again. So.
Is that the philosophy that you try to instill in your clients now?
I think it comes down a lot to that, and it's not necessarily about taking over the world every time that you try and find something new for yourself. It's just about just keeping something in your mind that's keeping you forward. The more that someone says to themselves they want to not go backwards, chances are that's what's actually going to happen. So if they can figure out a way to do something new, then the journey that they have to go through for that keeps them moving in the right direction.
So I suppose constantly being challenged or challenging yourself motivates you more too. Yeah. Cheryl, with regard to your future, what do you see?
Size 10 clothing, you know, still a confident lady who loves life and loves getting out there, and I think, you know, sharing that experience and the self-belief in people. I didn't believe in myself before. I wouldn't look at myself in the mirror. I wasn't confident. I had a great job where I, you know, work with people, but behind the scenes I wasn't a confident lady. I've got that. I want to keep that, yeah, it's still just going to be lots more fun, and it is fun. It's not hard work, I have to tell you. It's been the most amazing, enjoyable journey, yeah.
You make a very good point. The cardio in particular, I think, is quite painful, so it's important to do something that you enjoy, especially with people that you are sort of like-minded people.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
there's the weight loss journey and, of course, the fitness journey.
Yeah.
Any other events that you're aiming for in the next 12 months?
Well, of course, Simon's inspired me now. He's doing triathlons, which is just amazing. I'm going to go and cheer him on in Canberra in a few weeks' time. He's doing a half Ironman there. But one together would be great. I'm not sure if I'm up for the swimming side of it, but definitely, you know, the running and the cycling. But hey, you know what? That could be another goal for me to go forwards, maybe start to swim a bit more. So yeah, the world is open there to take.
It's a good goal. I suppose you could break the 3 legs up. Someone could do the swim, the ride, or the run.
Exactly, yeah. Well, we're a team, you know, so yeah.
We mentioned earlier, Cheryl, that you travel quite a bit. And with regard to your meetings and, again, your dietary requirements, how do you fit 5 to 6 meals in a day if you're constantly being shuffled and with constant meetings? What do you do?
Well, with Vision, they give you the ability to understand snacks and what you should be eating. So Simon always reminds me what I should have in the morning, what I should have in the afternoon. So basically I pack for that. So I always take everything with me where I can. But of course, if you're in an all-day meeting where the food's supplied to you, what you do is communicate with the people that are organising it, that you have dietary requirements, make sure there's fruit there, make sure there's healthy sandwiches on grain and brown bread, and I have my own snacks with me. When I go out to dinner, I always make sure there's healthy options on the menu. So, I mean, the key to it is, you know, don't go back to your old habits, stick with your new ones because they're great for you, and you end up actually eating more than you've ever eaten before, but it's all healthy.
I suppose in essence it's important to put yourself first, so planning is crucial.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I discussed with Simon is that prior to any conference I went to or client event I went to, I would be conscious of not eating, and then I'd eat all the bad food because I was hungry. Well, now I don't worry about that. I'll open up my raw cashews or I'll take some yogurt with me and just explain to the people that I'm with that look, and normally most of the time they're inspired by that. They go, oh, that's fantastic, gee, we wish we had that. And I'm like, oh, I'm happy to share with you.
That's good.
Yeah. So.
Now, Simon, if you could tell me quickly, I know Cheryl had a great result in a weight loss challenge. Tell us quickly about that.
This was the first weight loss challenge that Shez competed in when she first started, which was the September of 2008. So in that 9 weeks, from memory, it was 17 kilos weight loss, and I think the before and after photo that we have in itself was really good. So that really helped just to propel her. And I guess the changes that she went through with regards to the strength improvements and also her cardio fitness over that 9 weeks, because we just put in training sessions twice a day. On the weekends, we used to train together quite a lot. I remember training with Shez on a Sunday as well, just to help make sure we got our minutes in. The food diary, if it couldn't be written down, then it was emailed in a little spreadsheet to each other back and forth, just to make sure we're on track every single day. And generally speaking, I've experienced in Weight Loss Challenge that week 6 to week 8 is sometimes a bit of a stumbling block, where most people just fall off or the trainer just doesn't hold the client accountable. So we had to set each other weekly little bets to make sure that we got it done. Otherwise, the other person had to do boxing with the client or had to do push-ups or star jumps or something like that. Just a bit of humiliation to make sure we actually got everything done. So yeah, worked well.
So I guess that was, again, another boost with your motivation, the actual weight loss challenge. And again, congratulations, 17 kilos is massive.
Yeah, well, I actually didn't think it was amazing. I just thought it was just what I was doing, it was the journey I was on. And all of a sudden, we had a function and I said to someone, no, look, I'm not going to go, because I was still very shy and withdrawn and not really social. And he said, no, you've got to come. And I said, oh, look, I'm just not comfortable, coming out, and, I just don't feel it's really me. But, oh, you have a great night. And he goes, Shez, you really have to come. I'm like, all right, I'll come. So I went and bought myself a new dress, and I've gone down 3 sizes, and and it was amazing. I had no idea that I was the winner. I just I was there just doing what I did. Yeah, I didn't realise that I'd won. I thought there was lots of other people in the studio that had done just as good as me.
And Cheryl, I know another motivation factor for you was the Hall of Fame chart. Tell us about that.
Well, the Hall of Fame chart was just amazing. I'd look at it and I'd go, oh, wow, I'd love to be up on that chart, but I can't do push-ups and I can't do prone holds, and and then Simon said, look, come on, let's just give it a crack. And I remember the first time I did some push-ups, I think I got to 40, and I was like, oh, wow, that's fantastic. But that wasn't good enough, was it? So, yeah, I think my record is 140, and I've held the record for some time, and then all of a sudden, this lovely young girl that's come in and beat me recently. So I said to Simon, look, she can have it for the next week or 2, but she can't have it for too long. So that's my next, probably tomorrow morning we might give that a crack.
Fired up, ready to go. That's great news. Yeah. Cheryl and Simon, thank you so much for coming today and sharing your story. I'm really touched. I think it's a great journey that you're on, and continued success.
Thank you.
Well done, both of you.